Welcome back to another video. My name is Callan and I'm currently reacting to every single A24 film in order. Today, however, I want to show off some of the filming locations for the movie Under the Silver Lake. I recently took a trip out to LA where I watched Oasis perform, and while I was there I made a few stops to visit some of the filming locations. If you guys are interested, I may post my full LA vlog because I do visit other filming spots for other A24 films. Anyways, the first stop is the location from the opening scene where Beware the Dog Killer is painted on the window. You can see the red building on the left where it says Grey Goose, and then when the camera pans over, just take note of the buildings and specifically Jenny's ice cream in the back. So the name of the cafe is Mustard Seed Cafe. It was rather busy so I didn't film the inside, but this would have been the window where Beware the Dog Killer was painted. And again, there we have Grey Goose on the left, similar buildings on the right, and then once we pan over, you recognize the brown building on the left, and then Jenny's ice cream on the right. That was quite the busy place. Anyways, coffee has been acquired. This is a iced vanilla latte. Just over $8 for this thing. I must say though, that is probably one of the best vanilla lattes I've ever had. It might just be due to the fact that I've been up since 3:45 a.m. Also, I stopped drinking coffee. I haven't had coffee in weeks. So this is really hitting the spot. For those of you wanting to visit this cafe, it's located at 1948 Hillhurst Avenue, Los Angeles. In this next scene, Andrew Garfield's character drives around and briefly passes Sunset Junction. You can see the sign right here. Also, driving by Intelligentsia. As I stand across the street, there is the Sunset Junction sign on the right, and then Intelligentsia on the left. What's fun about the sunset sign is that they used this design during the end credits, as you can recognize the shape of the sign as well as the star. I kind of regret not getting coffee at Intelligentsia, but I've definitely had their coffee before. Anyways, this location is at 3922 West Sunset Boulevard. The next spot is the Last Bookstore in downtown LA. This is where his character gets a couple of those books. Take note of this scene where the counter is made up of a ton of books, and you have the mammoth on the wall. Also love this guy's shirt. They actually sold it, so of course I had to buy it. Also take note of the books on the upper right wall. This is what the outside of the Last Bookstore looks like. Let's head on in. First thing you notice is of course the counter of books, and then the mammoth on the wall. And then when I stand on this side, you can see all of the books on the upper wall. And of course, here we have a look of the LA shirt that the guy wore. And here we have the shirt itself on me. This place is located at 453 South Spring Street. The next place his character visits is this field where random numbers are appearing on a scoreboard. So the field and scoreboard are here at John Marshall High School. This is more or less where his character would have parked, and then across the street near the stop sign is where the girls would have parked. It was very difficult to film over the fence, but that right there is a scoreboard from the movie. The John Marshall High School is located on 3939 Tracy Street, but if you want to see the field, just go ahead and park on Griffith Park Boulevard. Our next filming location spot is at Echo Lake. Andrew Garfield's character pulls up in his car and parks along this side of the street. Take note of the building to the top right of the screen. Now when I got there was a lot of vendors, and I believe they were actually set up in the spot where his car would have parked. But this would have been the telephone pole, and it looks like they repainted the building on the right, but you can recognize the balcony-like area as well as the windows on the building. Next we see the girls headed into the building, and here we have the building itself. You can recognize the sign, the red roof, and the columns. This next scene we see him running down this hill. Take note of the building in the back. As you can see, the trees are a lot more grown and they repainted the building, but the design remains the same. He then tries to spy behind this tree. And here we have the actual tree. You notice the other 4 palm trees in the back. We then see the girls get on one of the paddle boats here at the dock. And this is what it looks like now, a lot more boats, and they're swans. They still have the awning above the dock there on the left. A prominent feature of Echo Park is this giant fountain of water. And in this scene here we see the girls paddling by. They eventually make it to this little boat ramp where the pirate man meets them and runs away. Some things to note about this scene is the rock work to the right of the ramp and then the different material used on the left. You also see a shipping container in the background and a gray building to the left of it. Here's that boat ramp. Again, notice the rock work to the right of it, and then the shipping container is still there as well as the same building. So many fun filming location spots here at Echo Lake Park. Now our next scene is this hotel that the girls arrive at to go to the pool party. This is actually at the Delphi Hotel. This is what the hotel looks like. The pool party would have been on the top here. Gonna try to see if I can get a better angle that lines up. And I don't have the right camera to do this, but you do recognize the main hotel on the right and then the building in the back. Now unfortunately, according to the sign, they're redoing the whole pool area, so if I am able to visit one day, it won't be as accurate to the movie. If any of you gets a chance to visit the new pool area, please tag me and let me know. This hotel is located at 550 Flower Street. Next, we're going to be tackling the apartment complex. It's so interesting how many different locations were used for the building and surrounding areas of his one home. First, we see the main character having to walk this trail every time that he comes home to his apartment. Some things to note are the overpass that he has to walk under, the stonework on the left, and then the rope on the right. And then when we flip it around this way, notice the bench behind him, again the ropes on the left, the rocks on the right, and then under the overpass. So I'm currently at the Lower Ferndale Trail, and other scenes of him walking, you do recognize this wooden railing, as well as a couple of these bridges here, but I was looking for that overpass. Now after walking further down, I finally found it. You can see the overpass up ahead. As we walk under, the rockwork on the right, the ropes on the left, and there is the bench. And then when we flip it around, his character would have been walking down this way. Our next part of this video brings us to Veselish Avenue, where multiple scenes were filmed. Instead of walking down that trail, his character is also able to exit his apartment through this gate. And this scene, notice the 3-door garage on the left, notice the exterior of his apartment building. Here's a look at those buildings once again. Really happy to see that everything still looks the same. We have the gate there as well as the yellow curb. And then when we flip the camera around, the 3-door garage home is still there as well. His character then continues to walk down the street and follow these models to another 3-door garage home where they're having some sort of audition. And right over here would have been that home. As you can see, they repainted the garage doors, but everything else lines up, the windows, the staircase on the right, as well as the hedges. Next, the characters walk into this intersection where they stumble upon Beware the Dog Killer painted on the street. Something to note about the scene is the manhole cover and the house behind it. We also see the name of the street in the background. And here's that intersection. Again, there's the manhole cover where his character would have passed by, and we have the same house in the background. Now for the more interior parts of the apartment, this was all filmed at Holiday Manor. What I was really looking for was the pool area. I got super lucky that I found parking and was able to walk around. You may recognize things here as the little courtyard area. This area then leads us right over to the pool area. So happy I found this. There we have it. There is the pool. Can't really film because there's people there, but you can definitely recognize the shape of the pool. Our next filming location is where the author lived. Things to note about the house is this gated entryway. Also in this scene, it has a beautiful view of Griffith Observatory. And there's the house. Glad to see it actually does have a good view of Griffith Observatory and that it just wasn't added in later on. There it is. I'm in front of the house. Next we see Andrew Garfield climbing up this hill with a beautiful view of downtown LA, where he goes to meet his friend. Sadly, the home no longer exists. The street that I'm on is called White Knoll Drive, and what I'm trying to find is where Andrew Garfield's character walked up this hill and met his friend Topher Grace. Alright, I think I got the vantage point, because this house here with the wooden fence, you can see that in the shot. And I think this is the telephone pole that you also see. Again, beautiful view of downtown LA. This next location was a lot of fun to visit. I stopped over at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. In this next scene, we have a movie playing on the exterior of a building. We then see some characters leaning on a tombstone. It's then later revealed to be the tombstone for Hitchcock. Now this is the lawn where they played the movie, and I believe they actually do still show movies here every once in a while. And then just like the movie, when we turn around here, there's the Hitchcock tombstone. Not Alfred Hitchcock though. This next scene, his character tries to enter the club where he first has to eat the cookie. Notice the architecture of the exterior. And this is what it looks like during the daytime. Again, beautiful architecture for the mausoleum. Similar to the apartment complex, the interior of the club was filmed in another mausoleum. His character first enters and walks by Helen Lusk on the left. We then enter this room full of statues where they had the stage and bar area. This was all filmed in the Cathedral Mausoleum. As we enter, you recognize all of the statues, but first let's figure out Andrew Garfield's point of view. Now right over here is where he would have first entered. As you can see, Helen Lusk on the left, And if we keep walking, those are the first two statues that we see. And then when we pan left, that's where the stage would have been. We recognize those two statues on either side of the stage. In this scene, we see where the bar would have been located. You can see a statue on the back left as well as the word Ferris. So I'm currently standing where the bar would have been, because if we turn the camera around this way, there we have it, the word Ferris. Something interesting to note, Andrew Garfield wakes up next to Janet Gaynor's tombstone, and this is what it looked like in the movie 1906 to 1984. However, this is what the real Janet Gaynor's tombstone looks like, not as elaborate as the one in the movie, but the dates do match up. Since I was here, I also had to say hello to fellow A24 alum Burt Reynolds. I still can't believe that his last movie was an A24 film. This is where he's currently laid to rest, and I must say he does have quite a beautiful view. This next scene, we see his character making his way up to Griffith Observatory, where he first goes up to the statue of James Dean, where he has to rub his head. And then in this next scene, he circles around trying to look for Newton, where he has to wait for the homeless king. It's so crazy seeing all these people here. When they shot the movie, Andrew Garfield was all alone. I'm worried I'm gonna look like a fool in front of all these people touching James Dean. I gotta do it for the video. That's a lot higher than I anticipated. I don't even know if I can reach the top of his head. Here we have it. Let's see, I got it. I touch his head. Step 1 is complete. Time to head over to the Isaac Newton statue. All right, here we have it. We have Copernicus, Galileo, circle around Kepler. Then this should be it. There we have it, Newton. Oh no, keep off planted areas. Dang it. Well, I guess I'm not able to do it. I'm not able to go sit right over there. Still really cool to be here in person. I'm so close. Just let me sit there. No one's watching, right? Darn you, sign. Sadly, didn't get to see the homeless king while I was there. Later on in this movie, these two characters walk by the Silver Lake Reservoir. They walk by all of the fencing here, which they eventually climb over to go swimming in. Check out this view. I actually have to head a little further down to where the filming location spot actually was, but I had to admire the view up here. This is the Silver Lake. I think I'm pretty content with just filming this from my car because it's way too hot outside. But this general area would have been where the two characters walked late at night, and then they climbed the fence to go swimming in the reservoir. Our final filming location spot is the holding cell where the homeless king held Andrew Garfield prisoner. Some things to note here is the outline of where the light is coming in and how far pushed back it is. That part of the movie was filmed here at the old Los Angeles Zoo. Now we have to try and figure out which one of these lines up with the movie. It's definitely not these two. This might actually be the one here. I think I found it. I know the entrance is further in, similar to this one, and then you can see the staircase and that doorway leading up. Right over here is where Andrew Garfield's character would have sat, the homeless king. It's so cool being in here. Let me get up in there. This is honestly a super tiny enclosure. Like, it sucks for whatever animal was in here when the zoo was open. Alright, and that was all the filming location spots for the movie Under the Silver Lake that I got to visit during my trip to Los Angeles. Please let me know if you guys want to see my full LA trip and the other A24 filming locations that I stopped at. Anyways, thank you again so much for watching this video. Please follow me on all of my socials down below at CallenReacts, and I'll see you all next Thursday for the next video.